Okay, so the first thing that I need to do is, now that we're going to start to write the demo of some code, we are going to be creating entity data model in database using Entity Framework Core. So the first step is preparing the .NET Framework solution. Basically what I'll do, I'll open my Visual Studio 2017 and I'll create two projects which are going to be regular .NET libraries, and the one is going to be for a our data model, and the other one is going to be like a database. So here I am, my solution name, I'm going to call it Samurai Julie because I like to include the name of the person that I'm learning from. And I'm going to create class library .NET Framework project, and this project I will go ahead and call Samurai app.domain. And the first class I'm going to add here is going to be a Samurai class. And it's a very simple class. It has a constructor that gets basically a list of quotes. Here we have the property list of quote. So we need to go ahead and create the quote class. And here's our quote class. It has ID, text, Samurai, and Samurai ID. And we have another class called Battle. And this is our class called Battle. It has ID, name of the battle, start date of the battle, end date of the battle, and list of samurais, I guess, that were in the battle. One thing to mention here is that we see that we have this battle ID in our samurai class. So that means that our samurai can be only in one battle. And the reason for this for now is because many-to-many and one-to-many relationships are a little more advanced. So for the beginning of this course, she didn't confuse us, so she put this battle ID so there's only one samurai can be in only one battle. So the next thing now is going to be to go ahead and install our data project. Create our data project, and in this data project we need to go ahead and install our entity framework, and I will use the PowerShell in order to do this. And here's our Samurai app data project. And now what I want to do is I want to go ahead and install Entity Framework Core in here. For that I'll use Package Manager Console. And the very important thing here, which I make a lot of time mistake, is that we need to, in this window, select the project that we want to install it in. So we want to go ahead and install this in Samurai app.data project. And then we want to go ahead and issue our command, which is install /package space, and then we need to go ahead and find our Microsoft dot. And one of the good ways to actually install the packages when using the PowerShell is also to find that package in the package library online, and then you can see dependencies, you can see a little bit more about it. And I searched under Microsoft Entity Framework, and it gave me several here, and we can see that this is a regular Entity Framework 6.2.0. Then we have this Entity Framework SQL Server Compact, and we have Microsoft Entity Framework Core regular. But also something to think about is we are going to be working with a SQL Server in the back as our database server. So if we click on Microsoft Entity Framework Core SQL Server, this will give us, a little bit of a history of the versions, version history, dependencies, and then we'll see that we need Microsoft Entity Framework Core relational and system.data.sql client in order to run this. And it also gives us this thing that we can just paste into our shell down here. Install package Microsoft.Entity Framework Core SQL Server, and this will also install all the dependencies as well. So basically now I have an error, and it's telling me that I'm trying to install Microsoft Entity Framework Core SQL Server into the .NET Framework version 4.5.2, but the package does not contain any assembly references or contain files that are compatible with the framework. So it's basically saying that my version of the .NET framework is not compatible with it. Okay, so I made sure that my .NET framework is 4.6.1, and then I actually scaled back because this course is using previous version, or a little bit older version of Microsoft Entity Framework Core, and is using 1.1.0, and I can see here that I was able to successfully install it. And I can also see that here in my NuGet gallery I have the dependencies, and I see that it's dependent to Microsoft Entity Framework Core relational. And if I look here in my data, I'm pretty sure that I will see those other dependencies that are installed. So it actually installed Microsoft Entity Framework Core, it installed Core Relational, Core SQL Server. So now I have my Entity Framework.NET Core installed into my Samurai App Data solution, and the next thing that I would like to do is go ahead and start working with it.